We are live. Well, sort of.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our mini arc of Gravendale. That I was voluntold to do by a one Maeve Bronwyn, who, of course, then we had to have join us because
Maeve was voluntold to join.
Right. Because
that's what you get.
Fair game, right? So I want to thank
I had to.
Right. So we want to say thank you all for joining us. We are kind of pre-recording this due to certain technical issues that we had, which admittedly, if you saw our last live stream live before it went down, you'll understand a little bit that we had a lot of technical issues with my mic and other things, and it was.
And then everything went to hell. It's fine. I'm not salty about it at all.
No, I want to be.
Anyway.
I'm tasting salt. At any rate, but I digress. So this is a kind of a smaller arc that's kind of taking place as a bit of an interlude. It is set in the same world of Saul's Rest. Gravendale is the name, and as we begin, we're actually going to start with Kai and Saral.
Okay.
So the first thing that catches you a little bit off guard, Kai, is that you have to remind yourself for just the briefest of moments to breathe.
I imagine there's definitely a...
And the fact that there's a slight panic sensation when you realize that you were not necessarily breathing, and just that sort of that instinctual panic of gasping for breath. But then as you start to breathe and quickly it goes into something that becomes autonomous, like it's not, but for that split second, you're like, right, okay, like it's almost like your body has to remind itself that this is how things work. And
it's fine. It's just been 10,000 years.
And the air is cool on your skin, which is also weird because, again, these smaller sensations that you've kind of been oblivious to in the past because you're dealing with extra level things, it takes a little bit to realize, oh, right, I'm here, I'm doing things. And so as you take in your surroundings, and you're kind of, you appears that you're outside of a kind of a small to mid-sized town that's on the coast. And that's when you kind of remember, it's like, oh, right, I was going to start outside of, I believe the town was called East Gulf, right?
Yes.
And sure enough, as you think of that, you see that you are standing there on the road, kind of outside of East Gulf, kind of looking down the hill towards the coastal town. And the brisk sort of breeze coming off the ocean there and off the sea, kind of hits you. It is like an overcast day, and it's kind of on that cusp of almost getting to the point of a little bit of snowiness to kind of going back to be more of a not quite wet sleet, not quite snow, sort of like Mother Nature doesn't know yet what she wants. She's kind of on the borderline. But as you sit there and breathe in that sea smell, that kind of smell of the ocean and the seaweed and a little decaying of, but it's that kind of the little fishy smell, what have you, that kind of combination of scents. Your mind just kind of gets a little bit lost for a moment, kind of processing all of this. As you start to realize you're processing it, well, as a mortal.
I think he's going to lean into it a little bit. I think he's going to kind of like turn his face to the breeze and just kind of close his eyes and just breathe it in. Feel the things as a mortal for the first time in a really, really long time.
That's fair. And as you take it in and kind of hear the breeze, and hear the sounds and like of the breeze going through the trees and whatnot, and you're just kind of immersing yourself in this sensation for, even though you've heard it a multitude of times, but it's almost like at the same point hearing and feeling and smelling it for the first time again, which is a very unique feeling. Sorrel, for you, it's a day ending, and why? Like you're as you're sitting there, you're just kind of sitting there on your horse, Ichabod, and just kind of like taking it in, feeling a little bit of a chill, and you see Kai just kind of standing next to you, just sort of arms spread out, maybe arms spread out just a little bit, almost involuntarily, like not even realizing he's sort of doing it, but just kind of like closing his eyes and sort of doing the kind of the taking in everything.
You see why you always found me sunbathing on a beach?
Yeah, sure do.
Air. It's wicked cool.
Well, this is actually getting cold. He kind of closes the cloak a little bit around him. I haven't done cold in a while.
Get used to it. Eventually, if not, I have fire.
Oh, I'm good, thank you. The last time you did that, you actually lit me on fire, and this time it would hurt.
Now, the interesting thing is, you remember your past self and whatnot, and kind of your reasons for wanting to do this, but you also know that part of that sort of mortal experience is kind of exploring the unknown and the fear of the unknown. So admittedly, you don't know exactly why you decided to start your journey here. You just know that, but you do have kind of an urge, for lack of a better term, or sort of a kenning that's telling you that some of the experiences that you were, for lack of a better term, looking for, or the need for you, is kind of being drawn towards this town.
So Kai is going to move over to Ichabod, who's also been dead for over 10,000 years, and just kind of like put his hand on his his nose and kind of just reacquaint himself with his friend's old horse.
That's fair.
And then he'll kind of look over at Sorrel, who I'm guessing is bouncing in the saddle and ready to go.
Just giving Ichabod squishy scratchies and patties.
And Ichabod approves.
Well,
it's like I don't get a familiar anymore in this version of Sorcerer, so I gotta have somebody to
True.
with.
Well,
there is a way to do it.
There is a way to do it with some feats if you want to go that route later down the road.
Noted.
But understandable, I believe you did your ability bump for your level 4. Yeah.
Yep.
So, with that being said, you head into the village. Now, meanwhile, Ludema and Tink, you have been, for the past couple of days, with the chaos of the encroaching night the horrible beasties that came out of the woodwork in the darkness. You've spent the past few days basically being a part of East Gulf, trying to help. Your paths have taken you to this town, but unfortunately, because of the chaos of the forever night, the encroaching of what one wizard said must have been the shadow plane. Of course, that wizard got eaten by something, so you're not 100% certain if that's actually true or not. Even though your individual paths have sort of taken you to this town, the past couple of days have been sort of chaos. And so when the skies returned to their regular hue and stature and cloudiness and for the most part the horrible beasties that came out of the night seemed to have gone away, more or less. It seemed like the tide of kind of chaos and whatnot was starting to ebb a bit. You two have, as we kind of discussed a little bit in our session 0, while here have been brought here for different reasons, but very similar reasons, and that both of you are, as you've kind of commiserated and whatnot, have learned that you're both looking for people that are missing, that are dear to you. And so have kind of agreed, that having a sort of an ally in this endeavor might not be a bad thing, especially since not knowing exactly where these events, these searches might take you. As you wake up in the morning and it's kind of an overcast day, it's a little bit on the colder side. I forget exactly what time of year it was when things went down with the sky turning to shadow.
It was high summer.
Okay, so the coldness is actually a weird thing, but part of it was the fact that the skies were dark and the shadow plane was encroaching in, so it's kind of that weird kind of threw Mother Nature off track a little bit, as far as, because it was solely sucking the life and heat out of the world.
I mean, it was dark for a solid month. So
yeah. So suffice it to say, Mother Nature trying to get back under equilibrium is still a bit of a struggle, because it's literally only been a day, I'd say maybe a day or two since the sky kind of turned back to normal sky. So it's very kind of a odd, sort of weird feeling. That being said, as you wake up and kind of get your things ready to figure out what is your next leg of your trip or whatever, you hear there's actually kind of a village alarm or bell. You're guessing maybe from one of the smaller temples or shrines to the triad or whatever.
What does the bell sound like?
Kind of an alarm, like a kind of a very rapid ringing of a bell, like someone's like ding 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 ding. It's definitely not like a church bell where it's kind of doing the slow gong gong. This is more like someone's got almost like maybe like a handbell or it's a smaller bell where you can play with the knocker right away for whatever it is. But it's kind of dinging rapidly. And for what it's worth, for Kai and Saral, you actually, as you're approaching the town, start to hear the bell as well.
That sounds urgent.
Indeed. Should we go check it out?
It's what I usually do.
Kai kicks it up to a jog.
Okay. So you get into town, and for those that are in town, you kind of go out to the town square or whatnot to see what's going on, and you see that there are 3 or 4 villagers who look kind of sweaty and a little bit disheveled, and you see that some of them have bows, some of them have like a pitchfork or a spear. None of them look like actual warrior types. You're guessing more hunters or farmers or whatnot, or more militia type, you know. But you see, they are dragging on a couple of litters, kind of makeshift litters, some branches that are lashed together. A couple of teenagers that look a little beat up and bloodied and are unconscious, but seem to be okay. I mean, they're breathing like they're alive. But you see there's a third, and they're actually, the 2 of them are on a litter. And there's like a fur kind of thrown over them as sort of a blanket. But then you see there's another litter where there is a blanket, like a wool blanket that's thrown over whatever is on the litter, and you see it is thoroughly blood soaked.
Oh, that's not good.
And you see, and you do see that these militia members, they are out of breath. They are, and you see there's kind of terror, a little bit of terror in their eyes. And so as there are many people that do approach, there are a few people kind of in this town square as these villagers are kind of approaching the town square that definitely stick out a little bit from the majority of what you would say would be the village folk. And I guess we'll start with for those of you that were in town, aka Tink and Ludema, you do see I'll do a brief description and then you can describe your characters in more detail, but you see a large armored gentleman kind of jogging in beside a maybe kind of a halfling type or whatnot, riding on a decently sized riding horse, until you see there's this little kind of flutter behind her and realize that there's a pair of looks like insectile kind of butterfly like wings protruding from her back. And then as far as you two, along with the villagers, you see there is looks like a kenku, or a bird folk, and a half orc woman that seems a little bit more, well, we'll say adventure type dressed as far as that goes. But we'll start with Kai, and if you want to describe your character in a little more detail.
Yeah, Kai is somewhere between 8 and 9 feet tall. Very broad, very muscular. Imposing, but despite the just sheer size of him, has kind of a calming air to him. Gray hair, bearded, mustache. Despite the fact that his hair is kind of this iron gray color, he appears to be fairly young. In human terms, he probably looks somewhere between like 25 and 30. He's got a big old great sword on his back. He's got 2 scimitars in either hip. I guess the biggest, and everything is kind of some shade of gray or blue. But his eyes are this very vibrant violet color, and they very kind of stand out on his face.
And judging by his size, maybe some ogre in his ancestry. You don't know. And Saral?
Saral, riding atop of Ichabod the horse, is pretty sure when she would be standing on the ground, she might be, it's a little hard because she's sitting on a horse, but probably around 3 feet. For reference, she's 3'2". But, she's probably around 3 feet tall. She has kind of a sandy brown hair that looks oddly kind of like lavender in certain lights. She also happens to have violet eyes. Yes, she also has wings that are kind of the fire colors, and originating closer to her spine, they are red where they fade out to a flaming gold. While her companion wears dark blues and grays, Saral wears a myriad of colors ranging from warm, reds and oranges to blues and greens and grays as well. She has bright and shiny, earrings on her ears, weird baubles in her hair, little rings and things in her hair and on her hands. So she kind of glistens and glimmers here and there. And she looked really amused and inquisitive, and then she saw the dead people, or what we are presuming to possibly be dead people, and now she looks sad. Less bounce in her. Giddy up.
Okay, and so for you two, Ludema, go ahead and describe yourself.
Ludema comes out and is she's a 6 foot tall half orc. Her skin is that kind of hospital grayish, a little bit lighter, but that gray beige. Just a little bit lighter than hospital grayish. Black hair, but so black that light reflects blue and purple off of it. She has a quarterstaff on her back. She's a very pinup style build. Very athletic, like muscular, but very much pinup as well. Her tusks aren't overly huge, but she has her tusks showing. She's dressed in obvious performer gear, like you can tell she's a bard, as she's an entertainer. And her eyes are this really dark brown, and she's coming out because she heard the urgent bell, and she's looking around, and just her face kind of sags at seeing the injured, possibly dead people, not much younger than she is, since she's about 20.
Good. I know Tink had to step away from their camera for a moment. Oh, you're back. Hey.
Hi, I'm here. I was welcoming preteens to my house.
No worries. So go ahead and describe your character.
Yes. So you see a youngish adult Kenku So black feathers, all of the feathers, in very like loose fitting clothes that look like they allow for a lot of mobility. He has a hammer. He also wears like a gold necklace that looks like it's probably a locket with like a little red stone on the front. That's pretty much Tink. He'll kind of like look over towards this gigantic man who is literally the biggest man he's ever seen. Probably the biggest being he's ever seen in his entire life. And like kind of wide-eyed look over at is it Ludema or is it Ludema or Ludema? His newest friend. His half-orc friend.
It's Ludema.
Ludema. Okay. I'll kind of look over at Ludema, like with like kind of a wide eyes, looking back at Kai, and just like just sort of stunned a little bit, little intimidated, but not like whatever. It's fine.
Fair enough. So you see, and you see as this these group of villagers and farmers and some hunters or whatever. You see as they get to the center town, you do hear some screams and shouts, and as they're and you see the woman that seems to be sort of the head of this group, who seems to be one of the hunters, has a bow and like a long bow in her hand. It's like, get the healers, damn it! Get them quick! And you see a couple of people run off towards the small church or temple that's in the kind of near the center of town.
So Kai is just going to go over to the litters, and he's going to pretty much just ignore everybody else, and he's going to kneel down next to the blanket covered one, and real quick just do a quick assessment. This person dead?
As you peel away the blanket, and it's kind of peeling away because the blood has kind of gotten to that sort of tacky point where it's sticking, but you just see, you think it's a body. It looks so ravaged and bloody and torn to bits that it's hard to, like, you see what looks to be clothes, so it was probably a person at one point, but
okay, then
whatever.
At this point, full triage is going to kick in. He's going to pull out 2 of the common healing potions, and he's going to administer them to the 2
Okay.
others.
That's fair enough. And you see the teenagers. You see some of the scratches and bruises start to heal. I would say, Kai, because you have a lot of combat experience, I mean, they looked a little beat up, but they didn't look like their injuries were life-threatening. Let's put it that way. I mean, it looked like maybe someone cold-cocked them or something, or maybe, fought with them a little bit, but not like the other body at all. Like some minor scratches and bruises, but nothing too discernible. That being said, though, when you administer the potions, you see both of the teens just and start to kind of start looking around, and they're like, and confusion and surprise and freak on their faces. They see this giant of a guy that they've never seen before, who's kind of holding like one's chin down and pouring the last of a potion down their gullet. So they're more than a little taken aback, but once they start to realize that they're back in the town, they kind of, start to calm down a little bit.
I'll throw. Kai will throw in the biggest, like, I'm a big teddy bear smile that he can muster.
Okay.
Sorrel alights like on his back because he's freaking huge, so she could do that. And
I'm a full 5 feet taller than you.
I mean,
at least 5.
I mean, Kai is just like a hair short of actually being considered large size.
Yeah.
Like just.
Like and I'm a small size.
Yeah.
Person.
So yes, you're.
So especially if I'm just kind of perching on him a little bit.
Your 30-pound soaking wet isn't going to hurt him at all. You're good.
No, it's okay. He's just helping. He's just taking.
And you see the two teens are like, okay, and
how do you feel?
And you see they kind of look at each other and they give each other the biggest hug. And you see the boys like stroking the gal's hair. It's like, it's gonna be okay. Like, oh my love, it's gonna be okay. And you see the huntress that's kind of the head of this group is like, you're a bunch of damn fools is what you are. Running off when you know there's shit out there. And then you see she kind of turns towards you, Kai, since when you're down on one knee administering the potions, you're probably about the same height as her at eye level. And she's like, thank you, stranger, for using up some of your healing potions. I imagine you're some sort of adventurer.
He stays kind of like, instead of, he was down on one knee, but he'll kind of do that. He'll stay kind of down on her level, but he'll move to more of like a hunker, like a perch.
Sure.
Thrall then gets off of him because that's more awkward to perch on.
That's fair.
And he'll just kind of smile, nod slightly, and then look at Sorrel.
Oh yeah, adventures, it's our thing. And I feel like young kids did something stupid. And what happened? How did you get so broken just leaving town?
The kids' parents noticed that they had disappeared in the night. No doubt running off for one of their little romantic rendezvous, but they decided to do it outside the town. And quite frankly, we've been dealing with a lot of craziness going on, what with, the sky turning to death and trying to eat the world and all that crap. So, admittedly, there's been a lot of creatures out there. We've been kind of on high alert. So when these two village idiots, and you see the teens kind of wince for a moment, scared the death out of their goddamn parents by running off to go fool around. So when the kids went off to run and their parents realized that they were missing, they called together a group of us to see what we could do to find them. And we found them, but there was some sort of beast attacking them that was the damnedest thing I ever saw.
I just kind of gestures at the corpse.
Yeah, well, that was the beast's handiwork too. It's some sort of wolf-like, dog-like creature, very large from what I can see, very fast. But unfortunately, we weren't able to stop it from killing Harold. This thing, I think, changes size. At one point, I thought it was the size of a man when I saw it, but what killed Harold was much bigger, easily as large as your horse. I don't know what to make of that. Admittedly, I carry a handful of arrows on me if of a special nature if we fear that there might be a werewolf or something about. I don't know if that's the case here, but the arrows seem to sink in pretty well. Harold's arrows seem to strike true, but we don't have the resources here. I mean, with the chaos of everything going on, we haven't had a ship coming from Impri to Longueuil for damn near a month. It's just been us fishing and trying to survive as best we can. The horrors that have been running around. We don't. Unfortunately, when the caravans and whatnot don't come through here, we're kind of left to our own resources.
Kai stands.
Go do something.
He walks over to the corpse of Harold, picks him up, and then in a very low, somewhat terse, not terse necessarily, but a somewhat low voice to the huntress. Is there a private place I can inspect the body?
Yeah. You can come with me. And she heads off to an area where an area that smells pretty horrible, as you realize it may be like a kind of on the outskirts of town, where it's like a kind of a tannery, you're guessing?
Question. Do Ludema and Tink have the big PC lights over their heads?
Definite PC lights.
Well, I mean, for starters, Ludema has like the flashiest performer's clothes. Actually, probably a lot akin to Soral's outfit as far as stylish colors and whatnot. Definitely doesn't look like most of the folks that live here are more, commoners, kind of, salt of the earth. So probably a lot of leathers or cottons and earth tones, and not really dyeing stuff because, quite frankly, that costs money. But you definitely get the feel of those two, at least, that they are not of the same vein, not really dressed the same way as a lot of the townsfolk that you see.
As he turns to follow the huntress, he kind of looks down again at Soral and very quietly in Sylvan, which I'm just assuming that you speak.
Can't figure out languages in D&D Beyond, so probably.
So yes, you speak Sylvan. So he'll just kind of say, the Kenku and the half-orc may be helpful.
Should I go chat?
If you want to go see if they want to come along.
Sure, I'll go chat them up. Fine. You can do the dead part. I don't like the dead part.
He just kind of nods and moves after the huntress.
I turn and go the other way. There's these two yahoos.
Okay.
And I'm resisting their urge to go, you have a friendly face, come with me.
You have a trustworthy face.
You have a trustworthy face.
It's like, if anybody could get away with it, it would be Soral. I'm just saying.
It would be Soral.
It's true.
She would be the one character who would actually say that shit. All right. Bird or orc? Bird or orc? Could you be standing near each other, or are you standing far from each other?
No, we're by each other. Yeah.
Yeah,
this is so convenient. So the little whatever I am, according to you, comes bouncing over to you. Actually, bringing her horse because she don't want to lose her horse.
but is kind of like flying to you.
Well, kind of fly bouncing.
Kind of fly bouncing, but okay,
Yes.
but leading the horse? Sure, okay.
Yes. Because while the game sweetly gives me fly speeds, she doesn't really fly well.
That's fair.
Like, the
That's
joke
fair.
has always been that she can't actually hover. She can fly in a direction, but she can't hover. So if she's trying to have a hover conversation with somebody, she's always like moving between squares.
I love this.
So it's like it's my own like restriction I've given to her just because that's just how she works.
And it's fun.
And it's fun. So she kind of flutter bounces over to you. Hi,
Hi.
I'm new here.
So are we.
You are too? Cool. You look like you do things on adventures. Is
I
this
mean-
true?
Yeah.
Okay, you look like you don't live in a town most of the time and like do town stuff like scrubbing pots and feeding people.
I'm looking for my dad.
Oh, missions! Love this.
Yes. And I
love this for you.
yes. But no, I normally entertain.
Awesome. And you feathered one. Oh, you say hi too. Good. I was starting to worry that you didn't speak, and then I'm like, I don't know telepathy. How am I going to talk to them? Okay. Hi.
Now, Saral, I will say this much, and Phoenix is doing a great job of this, but when Tink says hi, you hear yourself saying hi coming from Tink's mouth.
Do that again, please.
Do that again, please.
Oh, that's weird. Do you have to say things that I say? Yes? No?
Yes,
Is this like
no.
how- Oh, that's so weird. Okay.
So Saral, go ahead and make
Anything roll.
I'll say an intelligence roll.
Intelligence roll. Got it. That's just like rolling this, right? Yeah.
So a d20 plus your intelligence modifier.
Oh, she just woke up on the wrong side of the bed and doesn't know shit. I rolled a nat 1 + 1.
Excellent.
I have no clue what's going on. Nothing.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Be patient. Saral will figure it out, I promise. I'm trying to
figure she
figure out what phrases
I'm
to
sad
use.
that Jess doesn't know, but Saral's okay. She's just like, oh, okay, I'll figure it out. Okay, so, why am I here? Right, I'm here to, see if you guys want to come with us. The big guy and I haven't actually talked about it, but it's kind of thing we do when we notice that people are in trouble. We try to help them, and it sounds like this town is in trouble because there's things trying to eat them or kill them or maim them or some variety of bad. Do you want to come with?
Yes.
Yeah,
Awesome.
definitely.
What's your name?
My name's Ludema.
Ludema. Hi, Ludema.
Oh, Tink is a good lad that he is.
Oh, that's a different voice, but okay.
I love it.
Tink is a good lad, that he is. I'm assuming just the Tink part is the name part, and the other stuff is something said about you.
You hear Tink make a noise that sounds like a very light little like tink tink tink, like you would expect to hear from at like jeweler's tools.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, you don't have to go to the same place as my friend went with the body, but let's go convene over there. Oh, and this is my horse Ichabod.
Aw. And Ludema goes up and strokes Ichabod's nose.
And
Ichabod is the best horse.
Ichabod is you've immediately befriended the horse.
Ichabod is the best horse.
And immediately starts looking for sugar cubes in your pockets.
And immediately is yes.
Ichabod is a bit of a sugar.
He's a little spoiled.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a little spoiled. It's been 10,000 years. Who knows what he is
It's
now?
like, I don't even know where he is. Like, when do we bring him back? Do we bring him back, like, after he met Sorrel, or is he just like a little fool who's like, oh, this is my person?
Well, admittedly, Sorrel, when you were initially approached to join Kai on this specific type of adventure,
Mhm.
and with certain restrictions that were put in place, which was a little frustrating considering some of the stuff you have done in the past, which you're like infinite cosmic power, space kind of thing. So, but to sort of win you over and console you, Kai brought Ichabod back. And that pretty much sold you on the, like, sure,
Yeah,
okay.
it's like, okay.
So that's...
She's gone back and forth so many times over her life. I've realized that she doesn't even know how old she is anymore. Like, she just keeps going back. And, like, even the stuff she did with this last group was power block compared to what she could do.
Right. And that happened... And the kind of the results of that, of the Saul's Rest game, have only happened just like a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you vaguely, and the weird thing is, like, you remember it, but the more you try to think about it specifically, it gets a little vague and fuzzy.
A lot of memories up there.
Well, and you know that as far as this journey that you and Kai are taking, it's kind of, it's sort of part of that, as far as somewhat self-imposed, some self-imposed limitations. We'll put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like we know things, but we don't know all of the things, and as it is, there's just a lot of memories anyway.
So, Ludema and Tink, do you follow the sprightly little sprightly pixie woman? I guess I don't know what the hell.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, definitely.
I definitely have the friendly face.
Yes.
Sorrel oozes spunky.
So Kai, since you were kind of moving ahead a little bit, we're going to say the woman who is, she introduces herself as Yana.
He kind of inclines his head and just one word, Kai.
Don't suppose you have any idea what was going on with the night sky thing trying to eat the world that seemed to be happening over the last month, do you? You look like you get around a bit.
Something about the shadow plane. I missed a lot of the details. Or, I suppose more specifically, I don't remember much of the details.
Fair enough. And you get the sense too, like, especially when you say shadow plane, her eyes kind of gloss over a little bit, like,
right.
So not in her wheelhouse,
Way
like
outside her pay grade.
But honestly, it's kind of the thing that everybody's sort of just been gossiping about, because it was obviously the biggest, shittiest thing that's happened. So, as far as the
since 3,000 years ago when the elves were removed.
Right.
Once we're in a decent place that's kind of away from prying eyes, he's going to put Harold's body down and he's going to unwrap it, and he's going to look at it from the perspective of somebody who is sort of like he wants to know cause of death, and obviously the mutilation or whatever, but like, was it claws? Was it swords? Was it like, what was it?
Go ahead and make a medicine roll.
I can do that because I am proficient in medicine. Comes with my class. That is a 19.
It definitely looks like something tore at this person.
Okay.
And admittedly, it takes you a little bit as you have to kind of realign, because like bones have snapped, so the body's in a very unnormal body position. So you have to kind of like, at first you're like, God, it's a mess, but then you realize, oh right, this is the spine. It needs to kind of lay this way to go in line with the rest of the body, and then you can kind of get a better idea. But it looks like whatever tore into this guy, and tear is a very apt term. The flesh definitely looks torn. It looks like there are bite marks, claw marks, crushed bones. It does not look. There was no precision on this. It was brutal and feral and just. Yeah. In fact, what did you get on your medicine roll?
19.
With that good of a roll, you actually are able to get a sense that whatever did this had as you can best guess, had a jaw width that was probably like the width of your head.
Right.
So
okay.
Definitely a bigger creature. A bigger, well, not maybe bigger to you in compare. I mean, but big like you're guessing like a horse. So like maybe a bear or a dire wolf or an owl. Well, not an owl bear. Like the owl bear would look more beakish, but I mean definitely something with teeth and fangs and claws and just. Looks like whatever grabbed onto this guy grabbed on, tore into, and then threw around like a rag doll, just judging from the broken bones and all the tearing flesh, and it's just pretty bad.
He'll look over at Yana. This creature was attacking the children, and you and Harold intervened?
Me, Harold, and a few others when we were searching for the... When we were searching for the kids, we found this. We found I'm guessing maybe it was a werewolf, some sort of large beast that was kind of hovering over them. But we attacked it to kind of try and scare it off. But Harold, he had a handful of silver arrows that were given to him by some of the clergy. So we each took a few and went to see if we could hunt this thing down, and thought I even hit it a few times, but just damn fast, and weaving through the trees, hard to get a good look at it, especially since it was kind of nighttime when all this was going on. But then I thought I had a lead on it, but then all of a sudden I heard Harold scream for just the briefest of moments, and then when I got there, I mean, this thing seemed to have some smarts about it. It didn't take him to eat it. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't take him for food. It just attacked him and killed him. This thing's got some intelligence to it, whatever it is.
If the children were attacked by a werewolf, you will wish to have them seen by a cleric.
They're already being brought in, although I did make sure to check them for any bite marks, and I did not find any on either of them.
Where did this take place?
Well, and then you see she kind of looks and notices the rest of the party approaching, as it were.
I'll cover the body up again.
Okay. So the rest of you approach, and you see this this huntress lady kind of looks over at you and nods. And is like, look, I can't offer much.
Just tell us where it is, where it happened.
All right. If you head east out of the town, there's a creek about blah blah blah, and so she starts giving some directions. It's not super far away, like maybe like 3/4 of a mile or so. So a nice little hike, but not anything that would necessarily be, you know, a feat of endurance or anything like that. Like, look, if you, I'll speak on the town's behalf. I know sometimes you types need a little help for your efforts, but we could definitely use your help on this. I don't know what this, I don't know if you have any experience killing beasts. I'm guessing you've got experience killing some things. She kind of says, looking primarily Kai up and down. The most obvious warrior of the four of you, but you're, anything you can do to help, we'll see what we can do to scrape together. For what it's worth, and you see she actually takes kind of her quiver off her belt and pulls out, I only have 3 of these left, but I'm more than happy to hand them over, and basically like 3 silver-tipped arrows. I don't know if any of you have a bow.
I mean, Kai takes the arrows. I cannot speak for these others, but for me, a place to sleep and some provisions for the road once we complete this task is all I require.
Well, I can get you trail rations and provisions to get you started, and you'll have a place to stay for sure. If you want, I can look after your horse, unless you want to take it with you out there, but...
Very quietly...
That looks like a giant target to a werewolf. I think if you could keep Ichabod safe for me, I'd really most appreciate it. Thank you.
I can do that.
In Sylvan to Saral, he'll say, honestly, it would just look like a giant floating ham to a creature like this.
Oh, shut up, I know. Why I said delete him.
I was just commenting.
It felt rude. You called my horse a ham.
I said it looked like a floating ham.
You called my horse a ham.
Well, he kind of is a ham. He takes over the show. This is why actors don't work with animals or children.
And this is how you get into trouble. This is how Bear gets in trouble.
He pats her all on the head and he kind of ambles out of the room.
I can still fricassee your ass.
Please tell me she said that in common.
Yeah, sure.
I can imagine she would.
The rest of it wasn't Sylvan back to him, but the last part was like, I can fricassee your ass. After the head pat.
So with that,
It dissolves into giggles at that.
with that, does the quartet then head out to?
This is Tink. Tink has a very unique way of communicating, and I have no clue what's going on. But can communicate is just weird and echoey. Not like their voice. You'll just have to hear. And this is Ludema. Yeah, Ludema.
Yes.
And they said yes to helping protect the town, and that's it. Oh, she normally does entertaining stuff, and I really don't know about Tink, except for Tink is a good young lad or something. It came out when he was telling me his name.
I'm Kai. You've met Saral.
Oh, my name.
Apparently you have not met Saral.
What? Wait. Get your head down here.
Oh, sorry.
In Sylvan, she goes, wait, Kai was never known in this world. I have been here before as Saral. Was I supposed to look different? Was I supposed to have a different name? Am I supposed to be like incognito? Because Saral has existed various times, and I'm pretty sure recently in this world.
I do have a quick question for Tink and Kadema. Do either of you speak Sylvan?
Sadly, no.
No, I
Okay.
speak Orc, not Sylvan.
I wish
So,
I did.
no, and that's fair. So, River Dog. Sorry, dog issues. So while you hear this hushed, loudly hushed, and sort of rapid conversation taking place,
That's slightly squeaky.
and slightly squeaky, you do not necessarily know the contents of the conversation, but it's
He listens to her go on, but then after she kind of honestly pauses for breath, he'll kind of, you don't really do incognito, and I don't know that it necessarily matters.
We could have put, I don't know, daily prestidigitation or something.
This is way more fun, and you know it.
It's just a pain in the ass to do that shit like every hour. Okay, so I'm just get to be me, right? I don't have to like. What if we run into somebody who knew me, just more like, powerful me versus.
I mean, at some point, somebody might recognize me as Saul, because it's close enough.
Yeah, how many tall guys are there really in this freaking world?
We'll just have to avoid Saul's rest. It's fine.
Like Saul's Rest.
Yeah, well, apparently they burned down the inn anyway.
Okay, fine. So yeah, back to common. My name's Saral. Hi, nice to meet you. Sorry, I missed that during the introduction.
We are dealing with some variety of wolf-like beast, either a werewolf or a dire wolf or some combination. Based on what I was given to understand, we're either dealing with one creature that can change sizes or possibly two creatures, one of a smaller size and one of a larger size.
Do I get to set it on fire?
I would like to determine whether or not it was an animal that it was simply acting in its own nature first.
Okay.
But presuming it was not, then yes.
so a strong maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, I have
I'm
fire
not hearing
now.
Okay. Do the four of you then head out
Yes.
in the direction that Yana had mentioned? All right.
Yeah.
Heroes.
In about 15 minutes real time, I have to put the girl to bed.
Okay.
Is she watching the Olympic opening ceremony?
I don't know what she's doing, honestly.
Okay.
I think
So we're gonna jump to Fuelan.
All right.
I mean, you're still a little sore and whatnot, but you're definitely kind of healed up.
Sure. I've had worse.
And your during the time that you were maybe even like a little passed out or whatnot, what kind of wakes you up actually after your kind of rest is the smell of kind of fresh blood, and you realize that your host has brought forth a small doe and has brought it into the den to offer it as a meal, as it were.
Oh, well, that's very kind of him. I'll, offer to let him eat his share first since he hunted and killed it, but once he's done with whatever he's eating, then I'll shift to wolf form and eat some as well.
Okay. And you see, he tears off a haunch and starts to chew it a little bit, but then you see he kind of perks up. And go ahead and make a perception roll. It will, based off of hearing. Well, or for you, hearing or smell, I suppose. Either one would be.
Yeah, I don't think I actually have any benefits to sound or scent-based perception rolls. I think it's just regular roll. 16.
Okay. Sure enough, you do hear the sounds of, and it's a bit far off, but with your kind of keen senses in general, you do hear the sounds of it. Sounds like some people that are kind of approaching the area. Not necessarily like right at the den that you were in, but you can definitely hear some voices kind of echoing off the trees a little bit.
Okay. I will quickly shift back to humanoid form, kind of make sure my face isn't super bloody, and make myself a little bit more presentable to humans, because I'll need my little bit of clothing. And then I'll just kind of have my weapon at the ready just in case.
You're wearing just a loincloth right now?
It could probably pretty solidly be described as a loincloth. If you were being very generous, you could maybe call it shorts.
Hulk pants.
Fair enough.
Got it.
And your host, as it were, in the den kind
I'm
of...
sorry, did I just hear that the wolf is wearing hot pants?
Hulk pants. Hulk
Okay.
pants.
Oh,
I heard
I absolutely heard fuck pants.
Oh, good. I'm not the only one who heard fuck pants, because that's what I heard. That's
what
why
I
my eyes
said.
went big, and I just went.
My child is in the room. I said Hulk pants.
Sure you did.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
and you see your host is like, are you going to speak to them in that shape?
Well, it is hard for me to speak to them in any other shape. Hopefully, we will not need to speak with them at all.
So, are we... very well. I will stay back, but stay alert. If they seek you harm, call me and I will come.
You have my thanks.
And
stand guard at the entrance to the den there, and
okay.
peek out every once in a while, see and hear. And
so for the rest of you, you travel through the woods a bit, and you find kind of the little creek that Yana had mentioned that is kind of and see the little what looks to be kind of a nice little setting for kind of a secluded getaway, like a kind of a mini glen. I mean, it's a small clearing, maybe 15 feet diameter roughly, but you see there's a small, you wouldn't quite call it a waterfall, but it's kind of like where the creek sort of dribbles over a series of rocks that makes a nice little like a kind of a fountainy gurgle kind of sound. So I mean, it is kind of idyllic. And sure enough, you do see there is a section of tramped kind of grass and ferns and reeds where you're guessing a blanket may have been. And sure enough, you see kind of a turned over picnic basket that has like a that's been kind of tipped over with an empty bottle of wine and whatnot. I mean, definitely see the signs of perhaps a romantic getaway for a little making out, right? So you definitely feel like you kind of figured out where the kids were, at least as far as that goes. Go ahead and make a survival roll, those that would like to as you sort of investigate the area more.
18.
17.
22.
Holy crap.
Nice.
So really all of you are following, are noticing that there's a series of, looks like large paw prints that are kind of pressed into the ground and are kind of almost kind of partially preserved because of some of the grass that was pressed into the mud that kind of kept the shape. And they definitely look like they look like paw prints of some kind of I mean, placing the animal is kind of hard to do, but they definitely look very large size. Like, you're guessing just from the size of the paw print, it would definitely be like the size of a horse or Kai, what you've kind of figured out, like something, definitely a decent sized beast. However, Ludema, with that roll, notices that there are actually looks like a smaller set of paw prints as well, that look a little bit different. Definitely looks more canine, I guess you could say, or if one were to give it that sort of descriptor. Somewhat similar to the large prints, but the large prints are a little more non-distinct as far as what kind of creature, other than it definitely is some sort of predator that has claws, and as far as what you can see from the marks in the ground. But the smaller paw prints are definitely leaning more towards a canine print, just from your experience. And you see that both prints appear to be heading kind of further east, deeper into the woods. Do you continue to all right.
I point out the prints to the others and
You
the
sure
different
can.
Hmm?
Oh, I was wondering if there were two. I know the guy said that it got bigger, or person said that it got bigger, but I was wondering if there might have just been 2 and they missed it.
Yeah, I think there's 2, and I point out the tracks.
So that was Thrall's response to your...
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And as you go, you see the big prints and the small prints seem to be kind of... They seem to kind of swirl around each other a little bit. And as it kind of moves out of the clearing, in fact, and you do see some snapped branches and whatnot that would be very indicative that something was maybe thrashing around a little bit, or fighting or wrestling or whatever. But there is definitely some sort of maybe scuffle or whatever that happened between these 2 beasts, as best you can tell. You even get at one point you might even see a small tuft of fur or something hanging off of a tree branch or on a piece of bark off the tree or something, where something might have brushed up against it. You then see the large tracks. At some point, you kind of follow the tracks, and they seem to sort of separate slightly, and then the large tracks disappear. But the small tracks continue on deeper into the forest. And in fact, you do see a couple of broken arrows, and even one that's like lodged into a tree, so you're kind of guessing this is where maybe the Yana and the other hunters had started to track and pursue the creature.
Are any of the arrows recoverable?
Let's say we'll say there's 6 arrows, and we'll say that we'll say 4 of them are actually recoverable. They're just
okay. I'll snag the ones that are recoverable to take them back to Yana.
Okay. So Phelan, you do notice some movement, and can hear some movement coming from the kind of the direction that you heard some of the voices from before, and it does sound like whoever's out there is starting to get closer and approach.
I will say Kai is not saying much during all of this, although he's very large. He has disadvantage on stealth checks, and he's not even trying. So...
would I know, like, what kind of birds are native to this area? Since we've been here for a little bit?
I'd say, I imagine with your physiology and whatever, maybe that's, I don't know, are birds kind of a hobby thing you think Tink would kind of follow a little bit?
I'm
totally cool with it.
Sure. I'm just thinking, like, as we go along, Tink will just kind of make, like, random, like, little, like, bird calls of different common birds, just so that it's, like, there's noise happening. But, it's just birds. It's fine.
No, I like that. I dig that. Okay, yeah, sure. So, yeah, there's some bird calls and whatnot. Phelan, you can, I'd say you can go ahead and make if you have, like, nature.
Not proficient in it, but I can give it a shot anyway.
Okay.
Oh, not a bad die roll, 15.
Okay. You do hear some birds chirping for whatever that's worth, so at least as far as nature's concerned, the whatever's talking and walking around in the forest doesn't seem to be upsetting the bird folk, so to speak, too terribly much. Although the bird sound does seem to be coming from roughly the same direction as the voices, but...
Sure. Right.
Take that for what you will.
I'll factor that into my calculations.
Now, were you just kind of guarding the entrance to the kind of the cave, the den area, or?
Yeah, he's kind of standing just inside. If it's like just like he's kind of where the closest to the very entrance where he can be kind of around the corner.
Okay.
So if there's like a tunnel going into it first, he's like down the tunnel and then just around the corner into the main chamber.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a deep cave. It's probably like the entrance is, maybe, entrance is maybe about 8 feet wide, roughly in 8 to 10 feet wide, roughly in diameter. It probably goes down maybe about 10, 15 feet, and then there's kind of a smaller opening that's maybe roughly 15 feet in diameter. That's like the actual den area, for lack of a better term. I mean, it's not a huge cave by any means.
Okay. He'll probably be pretty close to that first, or in that first initial chamber. And that way, if they do show up and things go sideways, he's got a couple of different options of places to move.
Okay. So as you guys continue following the tracks of the smaller, kind of more canine tracks, you do come across what you're guessing is where Harold passed, and you see there's a series of trees where all of the branches from about, so like a trio of trees where all the branches inside that were inside the trio of trees are all smashed to pieces. You actually see a couple little bits of cloth maybe torn from his garments, and you see there is like blood coating everywhere. And in some cases you see dried blood on some of the trunks as well. Like whatever killed him definitely thrashed him around in that little section. You do see there are a large pair of paw prints that look very similar now to the smaller ones, except large again. A little bit different than what you saw before when you can kind of compare them. But definitely large size. Well, like the paw print is easily about a foot around.
This is a big go-go.
So this is the third set of footprints.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, with Ledema's great roll and everybody else's awesome rolls, you're able to figure out that it does indeed appear to be a third critter.
I do not want to be stepped on, thank you.
I need to go put the girl child to bed. I just need to sing, though, so it shouldn't take me too long.
I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and take a little break then.
Yeah, break would be awesome.
Yeah.
And my goal is to try to not have us go super late. I'm hoping I can be done by, but we may, granted we may cliffhanger it, but we knew this might be a couple of sessions. It wasn't going to be a one-off necessarily. And hopefully with the next session, we might even get a David to join us or whatnot.
Yeah.
Right.
But
how long do you want to go?
I mean, give it 10 minutes. That way I can see if there's anything I need to take care of with the
then 10 minutes is
preaching.
it.
All right, We'll be back.
Sounds like a plan.
schmoopsie.
We have.
I appreciate that.
We're alive. We're back.
Welcome back, everybody, to our Gravendale arc as we continue here. So you guys have now seen the crime scene, as it were, of the murder of Harold, the poor villager. And you've also identified what you're believing is a third set of tracks, different than the large set of tracks that you saw earlier that sort of disappeared, but definitely of similar size.
Do any of the tracks that we find here lead in a particular direction?
Actually, it looks like the small tracks and the large tracks, when you start to pick them up, seem to be heading, again, deeper into the woods, but in the same general direction.
As that appears to be the only path to follow, I guess we follow the path.
Okay. So, Phelan, you definitely note that there are people approaching, and you do even hear a little bit of a kind of a, as if to confirm that, you do hear your host kind of growl that there are people coming here.
I am aware. I will deal with them.
Very well.
And I'm kind of just holding until they get up to, like, the very entrance of the den.
Okay. Well, and sure enough, so are you being stealthy?
I mean, I can't speak for everybody else. I'm not.
So my apologies. Let me rephrase it. Phelan, are you being stealthy?
I would probably be trying to stay hidden, because if they don't spot the entrance to the cave, then I'm free.
Go ahead and make a stealth roll. I would say for the rest of you, because you are kind of searching and following tracks and whatnot, you're obviously kind of paying attention to your surroundings. I would say the rest of you can go ahead and make a perception roll.
So my stealth was a 21.
I rolled an 8 on my perception.
I rolled a 27 on my perception.
Whoa!
I have a +8. And I rolled a 19.
I have a +5 and I rolled a 3.
I rolled a 24. Not as good as a 27.
I rolled a 3, but I have a +9, so it's 12.
Jesus.
Okay.
Bards, man, I tell ya.
So, Phelan, you see 4 individuals, well, 4.5 individuals, 4 3/4 individuals. I mean, it could have been 5 individuals, but it looks like one of the individuals ate another individual and made it 4. We'll put it that way. But you see 4 individuals, one of which looks like you're guessing is maybe an ogrekin or something. Is like very large individual standing, as I had mentioned, about 8 feet tall, roughly.
Someone like 8.5 feet tall. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And definitely armed and armored. You see 3 other individuals that don't look nearly as... I mean, they have some armaments on them, but don't look nearly as armed or armored as the big one. But you do see they are approaching, and we've kind of... it looks like a bird folk. What you've known as a kenku, some sort of fairy lass with kind of reddish sort of butterfly wings, and a half orc in very gaudy, bright colors. And then, but Tink, because I think Tink had the highest. Tink, as you guys are looking around, you look up and you see there is a. Well, Phelan, go ahead and describe yourself, if you will.
Very big end of it, not Kai big. It's probably a couple inches over 6 feet. Pretty much just solid muscle, just built like a brick shit house. Wearing basically just the fuck pants, as mentioned earlier.
That is not what I said.
It's canon now. It's canon.
Still what it sounded
Too
like.
late.
Definitely not what I said.
Continue.
And the aforementioned pants, a kind of bag slung over his shoulder, and a great axe that he's kind of not like at the ready and about to slash at something, but like holding it that he would be ready to use it at a moment's notice. Seems to be all that he's got on him. But just kind of very still, very quiet, just kind of.
And for what it's worth, he is probably fairly dirty.
Yeah, pretty dirty. But you can tell that his hair kind of beneath the grime is like jet black. And his eyes are kind of a very vibrant blue.
Tank will like immediately like arms out to kind of try to stop everybody.
Okay.
And like locks eyes with the person he sees.
Okay.
And just kind of like with a little bird noise point in his direction to try to get people to see him.
And Phelan, it's the exact kind of same bird calls you were hearing earlier that coming from that general direction. You realize now they are most likely coming from this individual.
I assume once it's pointed out, we're aware.
With Tink pointing it out, you do see this burly, relatively sky-clad individual kind of standing, kind of poking their head out slightly out of a small cave entrance. Well, a cave entrance that's roughly about 8 to 10 feet in diameter, roughly.
Tink will, in Sorrel's voice, just go, "Hi."
What kind of?
That's my line.
Phelan kind of cocks his head at the odd pitch coming from the bird man before him. And once it's kind of blatantly obvious that they know that he's there, he'll kind of shout out to the group of them. I do not know what business you have here, but I recommend you turn and leave.
Ooh, he's grumpy. Hello? Someone died here recently, and doesn't seem very safe out here for the village kids who were just trying to get some nookie. So, we're trying to find out what's happening. Are you safe? Do you need help?
I am perfectly fine on my own here.
Oh, that's good. Do you
The
see
kids, they
anything
yet
that...
live.
Also, may I ask what everyone's passive perceptions are? Not Phelan, you don't have Phelan, I don't have to worry about you, but for everybody else.
18 for Tink.
Okay.
19.
15.
Okay.
Actually, they're fairly perceptive bunch.
My passive perception's 11.
That's
That's great.
That tracks.
Yep. Yeah.
Did you happen to see what happened here earlier? This general area.
Did Sorrel answer his question of
Oh, I'm sorry, I
if
didn't hear his
everybody
question.
was...
Oh, the kids. They yet live?
No.
They do. The person who came to save them, not so much. So you
He
must
kind of-
have maybe
when you
heard about this. What happened? Did you see?
So when you say the guy who saved them not so much, he kind of looks at you confused for a second. I am aware of the goings on in the woods.
Could you tell us more about what happened? Because we just kind of got some scared kids and a dead guy, and then another person who was with.
And I apologize. Tink, I believe you have the highest passive perception? No.
No.
Who had the highest?
Ludema does.
Ludema does.
Yeah.
She's
Right.
one up from me.
Sorry, Ludema. You, as this is going on, you smell now that you guys are able to kind of stop for a moment and kind of take in everything and hear this conversation going on, you start to smell something that is most definitely kind of the coppery tang smell of blood, fresh blood. And it, as best you can tell, you think it is probably coming from the cave.
I take it you've been hunting recently?
I have
I see.
fresh dough.
Ah, that explains the blood smell.
Mm. You have a keen nose.
The kids and stuff. You seem to know that they were there, and you said that you know what happened to us. Could you tell us more about what happened? Since you seem to have had observance.
Mm.
I sit down.
I don't know too many of the details myself. There was some goblinoid creature that shifted into some large aberration.
Ooh.
It attacked the children and myself,
Oh.
but eventually it ran off.
Do you know where it went or why it ran away?
I don't know where it went. It disappeared rather suddenly, but it did take off right around the time the villagers found the children. Perhaps it was scared off by their numbers.
Did you happen to notice anything else big and pawed out in the woods?
Do we hear that from inside the cavern?
Waylon kind of sticks his hand out to the side behind him as kind of like that hold gesture. My friend Fenrir was out in the woods that night with me.
Fenrir.
I need to know, Brian, do I have any recollection of that name?
Actually, for Kai and Sorrel, you can go ahead and make we'll call it an intelligence roll.
My rolls have been so great, this will be wonderful.
Oh, that's a good roll.
19.
Ooh, nice.
Dirty 20.
Yes, you recognize the name.
And do I have the collective memory of that individual? Or at least that name?
Yeah, I mean, you know of the individual, and yes, you do recall the snippets. Again, like all the fine details is a little fuzzy, but the overall broad strokes, yes.
As it works out, my memory of it is pretty fuzzy.
But here's the question, I guess, for players: does the players of Kai and Soral recognize the name?
I recognize the name.
Okay,
I'm a little fuzzy on all the details because it's been years.
that's fair.
Which is okay that the details are fuzzy.
But I remember.
Convenient, eh?
That was great. So yeah, I remember not a lot.
I mean, Kai very.
I'll just kind of looks at Kai.
Yeah, Kai very has an obvious quizzical he does not have. He's got no deception ability whatsoever. Everything is kind of on his face, and he's got this very quizzical look, and he literally kind of tilts his head to one side. Large, wolf-like creature capable of speech. He hadn't really directed at Schmooksy's character.
Sure.
Tink mimics the head tilt.
Quillan kind of gives you a hard stare for a second. And then kind of half turns, doesn't stop looking at you, but is clearly talking at somebody other than you. Do you know these people?
We're slowly starting to lean, like she could possibly see inside, even though she really
Craning her
couldn't.
neck to try to see her
It's
out.
just like
Actually, you start to look inside, and you see a form slowly starts to approach the cave entrance, and so you make out little features as you go, and feel free then to share or do the. I know you said we had the issue with the share screen, but feel free to put up the picture that I gave you there, Senor Bear.
You got it.
And for the rest of you, which I'm realizing now you probably can't see the shared screen because of the technical issues, unless you are able to. Well, you can share your own screen, right?
I can. It might be better off just throwing it in chat.
All right, then I'm just going to throw it in the G chat real quick.
I'm ready.
Provided my stupid computer will quit thinking it's supposed to be smarter than me and just do what I fucking want it to do.
I could do it too, Brian.
I'll just gaze upon the brownie sundae. It's all good.
There he is.
It's so big.
Me too.
It is a huge brownie sundae. This could
I'm trying to
feed
figure out where I can get
easily
brownies
feed
at.
2 people.
Okay, so I posted the image in the G chat.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Oh, you need a bath.
And you see as
See what she says.
this fairly blood streaked in the fur, especially around the muzzle, this what appears to be a definitely a dire wolf, and you're guessing well, most likely the origin of the third set of tracks and what killed Harold, as this fairly large, grizzled, sort of blood-soaked dire wolf, or especially around the muzzle, kind of steps out and starts, well, quite frankly, sniffing the air a little bit towards you.
I don't do anything, but I ready in action to grab Soral by the collar if she gets in mind to go hug the puppy.
You need a bath. And I'm Soral.
And you see the direwolf kind of kind of sniffs in the general direction of all of you, but then kind of pads a few steps closer and then sniffs at you more directly. Soral is like, "You smell familiar, pup."
You sound, and other than being you need a bath, dude, seriously.
And seriously,
you
you have a
stick your
breath.
muzzle in. You didn't stick it in the townsperson, did you?
Oh.
Did you stick it in? Did you eat the towns? Did you kill the towns guy? Please say no. It'd be so much easier if you didn't.
I definitely remember you were a talkative one.
Yeah, that didn't change. And he still doesn't talk very much. It's like it's part of our personalities. Hi, how you doing? What you doing here?
We were friends a long time ago.
That's what I thought too.
I don't remember how I got here, but I do remember the two of you. Do you know how I got here?
No. No, I'm a little fuzzy on exactly how I got here.
I think we chose to.
Well, I remember that part.
Oh, do I hear specific here? Yeah.
And to answer your question, I did not eat the smelly human.
Did you kill the smelly human?
Yes,
Why did you kill the smelly human?
because the smelly human was attacking this one.
Okay, why was the smelly human attacking you and you kind of left that part out of your story?
Perhaps if you would ask better questions.
Kai kind of leans over to Sorrel. He and Sylvan didn't really have an incentive to tell us the truth.
Pink says in... sorry, Schmipsy, how do I pronounce your character's name? Fuelan?
Fuelan.
Fuelan. In Fuelan's voice, because I take notes, repeats back that, like, the phrase that he said about a goblinoid creature that shifted into some sort of large aberration and attacked him and the kids. So, he actually did tell us that.
Did leave out the part about getting attacked by Harold, though.
You left out the part about...
Oh, that's right. Okay, sorry.
You remember the goblinoid thing.
Yeah.
Kai...
So did the humans guess that you were the one who attacked the kids because the goblin thing... Is the goblin thing real? I need you to be honest with me. I need to really understand what's happening here. Jessica's gonna roll a persuasion just roll. I need to know. Was the goblin turning into the aberration? Did that really happen? I'm liable to trust you because we found 3 sets of scary paw prints. You saw some coming up and I'm explaining to do on some of those. But that has some possibilities of multiple people here. Was there really a goblin-y guy who turned into an aberration and you went and fought him and then it ran away? Did that really happen?
Now,
Everything.
oh, sorry. Go ahead and answer. Sorry.
I rolled a 21 to be persuasive, and you should tell me that tell me the truth.
Everything I told you is true. I was tracking a goblin bounty. I came across this goblinoid creature in my pursuit of my quarry. This goblinoid creature did turn into some large monstrosity and attacked the 2 youngsters from the town. I fought off the goblin creature. When the other townsfolk arrived, it suddenly vanished, I know not where. They believed I was the one who harmed their children and came after me. I tried to evade them. I was not quite fast enough to get far enough away from Harold before Fenrir found him.
Are you
So
a
you
werewolf?
and Fenrir are friends now.
At least I see no reason for us to be enemies.
Cool. I like friends. Friends are better than enemies. I'm not a cool fan of vampires.
Are you a werewolf?
Kind of squints and gives you a hard gaze. Werewolves are not typically looked kindly on in these parts.
I'm not from these parts.
Me neither.
It's true. You see Fenrir kind of leans over towards you and says, "It's true. We're from somewhere else."
I will not say other words.
Quaylen kind of looks over at Fenrir, gives him kind of an appraising look. Looks back at the group. Yes, I am a werewolf.
Ooh. I've always wanted to know, can you control that? Can you like choose to go poof?
Saral.
See? Oh, sorry, not
Kai
I
stands.
have questions later.
Kind of not at all threatening. He just very slowly, almost that old man stand up, just kind of the thing.
And Quaylen is not intimidated at all by that. Like, he's completely...
Nor is he trying to be
reaction.
intimidating.
Right.
You had a bounty.
There's no... Yeah.
You had a bounty for this goblin creature. He kind of looks over at Fenrir.
I did.
You killed a man in defense of your companion in a case of mistaken identity. I suspect if we bring in this goblinoid creature, we might be able to convince the townsfolk that that is who killed Harold. Because fundamentally, from a certain point of view, he did.
It is possible. It was quite dark that night. There was not much light for them to see by.
May we help you bring in your bounty?
I suppose I was hoping to stay in this area a little longer. If they believe the beast they attacked is dead, all the better for me. Very well.
It turns to Fenrir at this point. How do you feel about traveling with old friends?
If it means the humans leave me alone,
I would very much like.
Nobody's here telling you.
I would very much like to pet you between your ears. Am I going to lose a hand for having tried so?
And that's all you get.
And I pet him between his ears.
And I mean, and his breath stinks atrociously, but that's pretty much always been the case like that. If there was anything else to signify whether or not it was the Fenrir roll, yeah, you get close enough and you just hear that kind of, yeah.
His eyes are watering, but he still pets him on the head. And gives him many scritches.
Ludema wants to hug the puppy.
Can I clean you? Do you mind if I pick you up? I don't have to use soap and water. I can use magic.
That's right. You were one to use the powers of the spirits. Very well, pup.
Thank you. Prestidigitation, clean the fuck out of that fur. No more blood, no more weird sticky mud thingies, and whatever the hell was growing on his side is gone now. I can't do anything for the breath, that's just the thing.
That's fair.
I tried, but, you know.
As she's cleaning up Fenrir, Kai will turn to Schmoopsy's character. I am Kai.
Kind of stands up just a little. He's already pretty straight, but he kind of stands up a little bit straighter and kind of a little bit more pride in his bearing. I am Fuelon God, of course I flubbed the name. I am Fuelon Blackfur.
It is a pleasure to meet you, and he will offer his hand.
Fuelon will shake it.
This is my friend Saral, and these are our companions, soon-to-be friends, Tink and Ludema.
It is good to meet you all.
What time of day is it, Bryan?
It's probably mid-morning, I would say, at this point. So quick aside, I realize we are nearing 10 o'clock. How late? 10 o'clock Central Time. Not that I'm necessarily trying to have us go super late, but how...
I thought we were going till 11.
Yeah, I'm good to go to 11. Our time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then... Okay, so then I will run the encounter. So,
We're gonna
Oh, yay.
Nice, man.
Well, here
Now
we
that
go.
the pesky RP is out of the way, we can kill something.
I like the RP.
I know, I do too.
Yeah, I do too.
It's my favorite parts.
I still want
So-
to.
what are your... what's everybody's passive perceptions again?
15.
18.
19.
11.
11. All right.
Alright, Schmoopsy, say your character's name one more time.
Fuelon.
Fuelon. I'm gonna mute myself and say it a bunch of times in a row.
Tink will
I don't know.
kind of, again, with like mimicking kind of what Kai did. Tink will reach out a hand toward Fuelon. When you hear, "Hi, it's a pleasure to meet you," in Kai's deep voice.
See, Kai, this is what I'm talking about.
I actually find it kind of endearing.
He stole my
I'm
heart.
Kai. We're not from around here. And like does like the head tilt quizzically looking at Kai and Zaral.
I thought you were Tink and he was Kai.
Oh, that's Tank. They're just mixing up. He's just... There's a whole weird way of communicating.
Tink.
I get the impression that Tink communicates through mimicry.
It's very unique. I have seen a lot of stuff. I haven't seen that one.
So as you guys are kind of catching up and talking, all of a sudden you hear a voice kind of growl in a language which... Actually, what languages do you all speak?
I speak Orcish and Common.
Okay.
Common, Draconic, Elvish, and Sylvan.
Okay.
I have Common, Orin, and Dwarfish.
Okay.
I still don't really know how languages work in 5e,
I'm assuming you probably know Common and Sylvan for sure.
and I know Gnomish.
And Gnomish. Okay, so that...
I know those.
So
Usually I
you
have
know those... So you know those three.
Draconic because of magic, but I don't know if that's a thing anymore.
Sure, that'll work too.
Okay. I won't
Yeah.
request any others then for now.
Languages are a bit weird. You usually get them from like your race and your background. Fuelon knows Common.
Okay, so you hear... You hear a voice, kind of a very gravelly voice, which I'm probably not going to be able to do, start to, or say something, which, about the only thing that you're able to understand from it, Ludema, is the number 2. and you hear and you see this creature that looks somewhat canine-ish, I guess, kind of a but with kind of grotesque, slightly demonic features, kind of, while it has fur on its body, it's got kind of you see the face, and its jowls are actually more of a flesh tone, but definitely has nasty jaws. You kind of get a sense now of why the paw prints were a little bit different, as you see the rear paws are very much like a canine's paws, but you see the front claws are almost more like humanoid hands with claws. A little more opposable thummy than like Fenrir, that is just a dog's paw. But you hear one kind of hiss and say something about two, and then you hear a reply, and you see these creatures kind of appear out of the woods, and I would like everybody to roll a niche. And I realize the map is pretty sparse. You're in the woods.
It's all good.
There's not enough vegetation to cause a penalty to movement. We'll leave it at that. And I had an echoey there. Was that me?
No, that was on my end.
Okay.
Okay, so I rolled a 19, so my initiative is 22.
Okay.
I had a 14, my Nishmod is plus, or I rolled a 15, my Nishmod is plus 1.
Okay.
Sorry, is that a total of 16 or a total of 15?
Total of 15 and Nishmod plus 1.
Nishmod plus 2. I did that. It's 21. So, because plus 2.
Okay. And Fuelan?
Fuelan got a total of 11. He has a plus 2.
Pink has a 19, an Ishmod of 4.
Okay.
What did Saral have?
Saral has a total of 9 with an Inishmod of 4.
You are rolling consistently badly. Can you switch to physical dice?
Really should.
I mean, if it makes it feel any better, Fenrir got a 4 with a plus 3.
I will go walk behind me real quick and grab some physical dice and see if that goes any better for this.
And then B1 goes at a 21 after Ludema. And B2 goes at a 19 after Tink.
Got it.
And I believe that means Ludema is starting us off.
Yeah. Okay. Hmm. How far away are they? Like, right?
Yeah, no worries. Let me let me adjust the camera a little bit. And hopefully this helps. So just to let you, and I'll double check this. So Ludema, you're right here. Okay. One of the creatures is here, if you can see that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is there.
Okay.
I'm going to check.
We can't see the one up north, Bryan.
Okay, let me just double check here. Does that work?
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
Okay, so the one that's all the way down south, that I have a direct line of sight to.
Yeah, this guy?
Yes. I am going. Oops. I did that. Not that one. I want to do Firebolt.
Firebolt? Okay.
Yep. Let's see. Okay. I would like to. Come on. All right, whatever. Well, that's not going to hit. 4.
A 4 will unfortunately miss. And that was your action. Are you doing anything for a move or bonus?
No, I'm going to hold tight.
Okay.
Well, I'll ready my quarterstaff if they get closer. That's probably a smart idea.
Okay. Then after Ludema is B1. And yeah, that one is going to you see it kind of looks at Yukai, and you see its eyes start to glow, and I need you to make a charisma saving throw.
Okay. Charisma saving throw. There it is. 16.
Okay. You hear in your mind this sort of raspy voice say, "Don't let them hurt me, friend." And for a moment you're like, you're right, I shouldn't hurt, and then just kind of shake it off and it's like, right, that's what fucking magic feels like, and it kind of pisses you off a little bit. But you manage to break free of its compulsion, and you see the beastie just kind of hisses in a little bit of a frustration more than anything, and then I believe we'll I think Ludima looks like an easier target than the barbarian guy with the battle axe, or the big guy, or the direwolf. So he's going to move up to get into melee range with Ludima. And that is B1's turn, so then I believe it is Tink.
Is Tink's turn. So Tink is going to skirt around to flank the guy that just got into melee with Ludema.
Okay, so may I ask what's your speed?
My walking speed is 40. I have plenty of movement.
All right. Fair enough.
And in like that deep dwarvish voice, he's just gonna like growl at this hideous thing. Pick on somebody your own size, you blighted Gorgon. And he's gonna attack twice with his light hammer.
All right.
Because dwarven insults that we looked up. That's one of the not hot dwarven prostitutes, in case you were wondering. That is a 19 plus 8 on the first strike. So
that will hit.
Second strike is a 25.
That will also hit.
I can totally math.
And this is with your hammer?
This is with my hammer, which is magical.
Okay.
10 points of damage on the first.
Nice.
Another 10 on the second, because I rolled a 5 both times.
Nice.
And for my bonus action, I am gonna spend a key point to do Flurry of Blows.
Okay.
If I can find where my freaking key points are. There they are. Okay. Which gives me 2 attacks? 2 unarmed?
If you're using the key point to do Flurry of Blows, then it is 2 extra attacks.
Cool.
2 unarmed
and
strikes specifically.
And they're unarmed strikes, yeah.
Excellent. Yes. All right. So first one is, sorry, I'm like, okay, it's a +7 because my natural 20. Shit, you not.
No.
For let's not throw dice all over the place. Another 5 on the 6-sider. So 5, 10, 14 points of damage. And my Way of the Open Hand allows me to impose one of the following effects on the target. I can make it roll a dex save or fall prone. I can make it roll a strength save or get pushed up to 15 feet. Or I can make it not able to take a reaction until the end of my next turn.
And what would you prefer?
I'm going to pull its reaction in the hopes that Ludema can probably get away.
Now, is there a save for that, or does
There is not a save for that one.
Okay.
And then I'll take my second hit. That is a 22 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay. For 3 plus 4, 7 points of damage.
Okay. I will say this much. You definitely notice, like when you're hitting it with the hammer, you hear the ring of the hammer kind of strike true. Mm-hmm. But when you are punching and kicking at this thing, it feels like you are hitting stone.
Yeah, I'm not magic. I don't have magic fists yet.
And you definitely know that the hammer that was kind of gifted to you by your your foster parents, because of its imbuements, it's having a bigger impact. That being said, though, from basically doing like a bash on one side of its, on one temple, and then bash on the other, and then like an elbow and the slap or whatever. I mean, this thing is discombobulated, so I mean, it definitely loses the reactions.
Excellent. And that is the end of Tink's turn.
Okay.
It is Bad Guy 2's turn.
Bad Guy 2 is going to...
Oh, fuck. Adam just realized what these are. I feel really dumb for not realizing what these were until just now.
I'm not paying close enough attention to figure it out. Trying not to like.
Oh, I missed my chance. I critted on something with my fist. There was an explosion of feathers, Bryan.
There was an explosion of feathers.
There was a poof of feathers. Otherwise, I'm gonna get in trouble.
This one is gonna gonna skirt around Fenrir and go after its original target, which was the guy that fucked up its attempt to take the kids, and it's going to maneuver around and attack Fuelen. Okay. And lashes out with a bite. Does an 18 hit you?
Just barely misses.
Yay.
So you as it comes around and comes in for a bite, you kind of bring up your axe and it just bites down on the kind of the shaft of your axe, and you just kind of toss it off to the side, so to speak. And that is it for that one. And so then it would be Kai, I believe.
Okay. I'm going to move to engage the one on the Dema.
So this one down here?
Yes.
Easy enough.
I'm going to, as I'm moving, I'm going to pull out the giant flippin' greatsword. I'm going to utilize Great Weapon Master.
All right.
So I'll be taking a penalty, but I will be getting significantly more damage if I can manage to hit. I am 5th level, so I will get 2 attacks. That is a nat 20 on the first one.
Okay.
And the suck. Okay, hang on. Orion? Come here a second, please. I need him to confirm that this was another nat 20.
Did you just rolled 2 nat 20s?
I did. Can you just look, confirm that is another nat 20? Okay.
Dad's not being sneaky.
Okay.
So I'm going to roll damage.
Excellent.
Oh, that's a D4, not a D6. That's not helpful.
I mean, you can roll the d4 if you want. I'm not going to...
I don't.
No judgment here.
I don't want. 18 plus... That would be plus 10 more than that, so 18 plus... So 34 for the first hit. It is magical.
Okay.
17 plus 16. 33 for the second hit.
Okay. So you chop down into its shoulder, damn near almost severing the front leg. And then as it rears up, you just swing a broadside across your torso and just start gutting into it. It is still up, but it is extremely wounded.
Okay.
Bada-boo.
That is Kai's turn.
Then I believe it is Fuelan. Fuelan.
All right. I am going to turn on the one that just tried to bite me.
Okay.
I am going to rage. And then I am going to attack the hell out of it. And I'm going to reckless attack my first one.
Okay.
So, Great axe. Oh, not great there. 14 to hit.
That actually does not hit.
Okay, well, I have 2 attacks, so I'm going to go with my second, which is an 18 to hit.
18 will hit.
Beautiful. Oh, that's less beautiful. I rolled a 1 on the damage die. So 7 points of damage.
And what kind of damage is this?
It's just regular slashing.
Okay. Oh, dang it. That damage should have been on that guy. Okay. Sorry, let me do something. I screwed up on something. Hold on a second.
It's all good.
That damage should have been. Okay. Sorry. Now I'm good.
That's all good. And since that's heavy, big old weapon, not able to do anything else this round.
Okay. And then after Fuelan is Sorrel.
I get to do something. Okay, I'm the one with the little pink base.
Yes. So you're kind of in the northwest corner.
And that's a bad guy kind of kitty corner from me, like 10-ish feet away.
So just to let you know,
Just like south of the.
There's a bad guy there, and there's a bad guy right there.
Oh, there must be a good guy between me and the bad guy then.
There is. This is the naked barbarian guy.
Not almost naked. He's wearing fuck pants.
Right.
That's gonna be a thing, like the rest of the
I love you,
campaign, isn't it?
Schwipsy. Yeah.
Okay, the 95% sky-clad crazy person.
Does I have to be careful what I say because there are 11-year-olds in the room. Does Fuelan does he have a different color on his base or no?
He is a black colored on his base,
Okay.
actually. So he's
Okay.
Just that's why it's kind of hard to see.
Yeah, we can change that to a different color to make that a little bit easier.
Or you know what? We're just going to take it away to make it look like a smaller base, so you have an idea of.
Oh, there you go.
There he is. I see him now.
Even color ring-wise, he's basically naked.
Great.
Okay, so Sorrel's gonna like jaunt on over like 5 feet southwest, so that there's that Kai, I think is the one with the red, is not between her and the other bad guy. Yeah.
So you want to go here?
Yes. So I can have a better line of sight for this bad guy that's surrounded by those 3.
Okay.
Because the other one's just kind of blocked off completely over there. And everybody's taller than me. And then I'm just gonna cast Firebolt and zap this guy.
Okay.
Heck-a-do. Seems the most effective thing to do. Alright, I was gonna try rolling with a real die and see if it works better.
Sorry, I just saw Tink's thing, and I was like,
You're welcome. That's what I wanted to say.
fluffy, but I feel that one is way more likely to be used. All right, anyway.
Can you see what this rolled?
Did it roll a 1?
It rolled a freaking nat 1.
Okay. You fire off the firebolt, but like right at the last second, you have to kind of shoot it up a ways as you realize that with the fury that Fuckpants Phelan is using to attack this thing, that quite frankly, it's just kind of getting in the way of where you would aim.
Technically, I'm aiming at the other one.
And the one down here by Kai. by Kai. Dama and I.
But yeah.
So same story, but all the people. I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't want to fricassee people.
That's fair.
That was so sad, though.
Fenrir is gonna go then.
One tonight.
We need to sage your dice, Jess.
I think we do. I bought some sage this last fall. I think I need to just do some stuff because it's bad.
Finishing off the round, you hear the dire wolf roar out, "I am Fenrir, the Blood Wolf!" And it will rage and then attack the Varghest.
Somehow I straight up forgot that Fenrir was a barbarian and Dominic being a direwolf.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
2 wolfy barbarians for peas in a pod.
It's a beautiful thing.
Tracks for wolves, honestly.
Right.
+6. Okay, so that would hit, and then that's a crit. So that's going to be... Okay, so you see Fenrir just starts biting in savagely and growling and frothing, and you see with just the force and ferocity of the attacks, you could kind of see why poor Harold didn't last too terribly long in this particular case. But you also get, in addition to the growl of rage, there's also a bit of frustration as you notice that for these things, Fenrir's bite just isn't digging in the way it should be. And that'll be the bottom of round 1, so then I believe it is top of round 2 is Ludema.
Okay. I'm at close range, so I'm gonna try Chill Touch.
Okay.
Okay. Says I got a 25. So, does that hit?
25 hits, yes.
Okay, so necrotic damage of 8 and necrotic critical damage of 9.
Necrotic damage?
Yeah.
Chill Touch is a bitch.
Okay, so necrotic damage of 8, and what was the other damage?
Necrotic critical damage of 9.
Oh,
I don't know. I'm just going by D&D Beyond.
Did you crit on that attack roll?
I guess I clicked on D&D Beyond, so it said green 25, and then roll damage, and then
yeah, she rolled a nat 20 plus 5 to get the 25.
She crit. Yeah, she critted.
Yeah.
Okay, so then damn.
Very nice.
I did the 8, and now I need to do 9. So that makes that. Well, and while they have a lot of damage resistances, apparently, and whatnot, and seem to be very hardy and sturdy creatures, necrotic is not one of them. And you hear it squeal in pain as your hand, you lay your hand upon it, and just this sort of as you kind of pull your hand away, there's this like sort of blackened mark on its flesh, and you see, just kind of putrefying flesh. It's not good. It doesn't look good.
Gross.
I mean, the damage is...
It's not my hand. It's an invisible hand, okay? That's how touch works. I don't have to touch it.
No touchy.
No.
well, and actually, as you pull your hand away, whatever little goop might have been on your hand also kind of necrophies and just drops off. So it's like your hand is effectively like you may want to wash your hands when the combat's done, but otherwise you're not like...
You should always wash your hands after combat.
Yeah.
You don't know where they've been.
But even so, it's not my hand that touches. It's a mage hand that's summoned and touches.
It's like a skeletal, like ghostly hand.
So after, are you doing anything else? You got to move and a bonus potentially.
I don't really
You could
want
move
to
away.
I mean, I could, which would
I took-
allow for firebolt shenanigans.
I
But at
took
the
his
same-
reaction away.
And firebolt, I mean, you can shoot into melee anyway. It's just,
I rolled shitty.
it's just Sorrel happened to roll not so great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, right now, is it flanked? Like with me?
You are currently flanking with Tink. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to stay put because I want to keep it flanked with ink.
Sure. Then are you done with your turn?
I am done with my turn.
All right. So Vargas 1, who is horribly damaged, says in common, "Fuck this, I'm out of here," and disappears. And you see approximately, I'm just going to put it off the edge of the map right now, about, say, 500 feet or so that way. Because the Vargas had an extremely shitty stealth roll when you're rolling that one. You see it appear a ways away and start running or hobbling away as best it can. And then, so weeps about 500 feet and then runs about another 60. And that is it for that. So then it is Tink.
Tink shouts after it. Again in the deep dwarvish, because I suck at it, but we'll attempt it anyway. You bloody lead-licking, beard-testing, copper-funneling son of a batshit golem! And then he's gonna flank the other guy.
Who have you been talking to?
I am deeply impressed.
Squeaky, squeaky.
No, I want to flank with Fuelan around the other side of the Bargeist.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It was a slightly different male dwarven voice. Just Tink's father would never say things like that around Tink.
Well, and the funny thing is who here other than Tink speaks Dwarven?
No, that was in common.
Oh, it was in common. Okay.
Oh yeah. Just the deep dwarvish accent. All right, I'm gonna attack this guy twice with my hammer. That's not good. I somehow don't think that a 13 is gonna hit it. Oh, but I have advantage because I'm flanking.
You do.
Yes. 23.
That will hit.
Okay, that is. Pardon me. 8 points of damage.
And that is with the hammer.
That is with the hammer.
Okay.
Second hit is for a total of 26.
The hit? Yes, that hits.
Another 8 points of damage. And then I will, because why not? I will Flurry of Blows. Remember where my key points are. Okay. I'm going to Flurry of Blows. That is a 26 to hit. Nope, sorry, 25 to hit.
That will hit.
That's only 6 points of damage. Make a dexterity saving throw.
And that's your unarmed strike, right?
Yes, that's correct. Dex save DC 16.
It did get a 16.
Okay. So
just got a 16. Just barely snaked it. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. For the second one, the second Flurry of Blows hit, it is a 26.
That hits.
Make another dex save.
This one, however, got a 9, so it definitely
Excellent. So it falls prone.
Okay.
And that is 8 points of damage with my fists.
All right.
Lots of feathers poofing off. It's great. That's the end of Tink's turn.
Okay, after Tink is Vargas 2, who quite frankly sees the writing on the wall, and will also disappear and appear kind of behind the other one and then run to catch up. So they are both running away. And then it'll be Kai's turn.
How fast are they moving as they're running? Like, I realize they're running away.
They are moving very fast. Like, easily as fast as a horse.
Yeah, not that fast. There's like shit I can do about that. Did anybody actually get hurt?
The one tried casting the spell, the one tried biting someone, and then the second round they were GTFO. So nope.
There's just nothing I can do. I guess I'm gonna delay. I don't really. There's nothing I can do, and nobody's hurt.
Okay.
So there's just no way I can catch up.
All right, then Phelan.
Well, Phelan's pissed, and he's not letting him go. So he is. Oh, he's raging. What do you actually think to do? You know what?
if you're worried about shape shifting or whatever, I mean, it's like primal instincts as far as that goes. So I'd say
No, I'm not worried about that. I know I can do as a bonus action because of that feat. So that would be super. But that's not actually what he's doing.
Okay.
He can't like cast spells or anything, but I feel like he's still mentally present enough to know that, or at least think of her as a weapon. He's going to move over towards Sorrel.
Okay.
So 20 feet. And then he's basically just going to kind of grab her and tuck her under his arm in one fluid motion if he can.
Whee!
Okay.
And then is going to, with Sorrel under his arm, beeline towards the Barghasts. Because he can move as a move action, he can dash to move again as his standard action, and as long as he's moving towards an enemy, he can move again as a bonus action. And his base speed is 45 feet.
Okay, and you were, let's see, 5, so you were 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 to there. And then you're another...
And then another 90 beyond that.
90 beyond that.
So effectively 135 feet per round.
Okay.
Dude. Impressive. Tank just sort of like watches him go, like...
I'm moving very fast! Thrall also does not choose to fight him when he picks her up. Side note.
That is appreciated.
Are
we getting the bad guys?
Yes.
Guess this is what I get for being the light one of the group.
All right.
The light one of the magic, well, one of the magic-y ones.
Yes, and
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say for right now we are effectively out of combat as we are chasing the individuals. They do have a speed of 60 feet, and even Fenrir at a 50 is going to fall behind.
Well, but can they make 3 move actions in a round? Because if they can't make 3 move actions in a round, then I am still 15 feet around faster than them.
Hold on. At one point, their tracks seem to disappear. Like they seem to kind of disappear in the foliage. Now, that being said, it gets to the point where you would have to track them because they're out of visible line of sight. As your rage settles down, you get to that point as you kind of get to that realization is the frustration of the fact that they are just speedy little bastards. Kind of kicks in. But I believe, let me double check real quick here, but I'm pretty sure the ability that they're using does not necessarily affect scent, but let me double check because I might be fucking that up. Oh, no, actually, never mind. Yep. Okay, so there, it does affect scent too. Okay. So you do lose their tracks there does get to be a point where that happens. That being said, as the rest of the party kind of catches up to, well, you and probably Fenrir, because realistically, and Tink is pretty fast too, as I recall. So as Tink
and I are just holding on the back. It's fine.
Yeah, Fenrir and Tink could probably be able to mostly keep up with.
Yeah, my move speed is 40.
Until he loses their trail.
So if I'm moving and dashing, I've got 80 feet, and I can step of the wind for another 40.
Nice. So as the party catches up, you realize that you're going to have to start maybe search. You might have to turn to more of a tracking thing. So I would like whoever is going to be searching to go ahead and make a survival roll.
I can aid.
Like, I would aid, but yeah, at some point, Strahl is just gonna be like, I can't see the tracks anymore. I think we need to slow down now.
So I do have one kind of GM interpretation question for you, Bryan.
Yes.
For natural lycanthropes with their different forms.
Yes.
It does say that your statistics, other than your size and speed, remain the same in any form.
Correct.
But for like the werewolf, for like the wolf form of a werewolf, would they still maybe get the like keen hearing and smell, the better kind of wolf senses?
I would say yes.
Okay. If that is the case, then as they kind of start searching, Fuelon is going to kind of stick his great axe into the bag of holding, take that off, slip out of his fuck pants, hand them over to Saral, just kind of go, hold these for me. And then he's going to shift into wolf form.
Okay.
Okay.
And then he's going to start trying to search.
Then roll them up and stick them in my pouch.
And
You're
as
never
you
getting
do,
your fuck pants back.
So go ahead and
And
add
draw-
one pair of fuck pants to your inventory.
as you do, you feel Fenrir kind of approach you from behind and sort of kind of grab you from the kind of nip of the neck and kind of fling you onto his back. And as you land on his back, you realize you've done this before. In fact, you look at the tufts of, as you're kind of grabbing onto the tufts of fur, because there ain't no fucking saddle by any means, but as you feel something that is distinctly like a cloth-like feeling, but is distinctly not fur, and as you kind of shift through the fur to see, you see kind of tied into the fur, very worn, very matted, you see the little, and very faded in color now, this faded sort of purple ribbon that you tied into Fenrir's fur. All those fucking centuries ago.
That's fabulous.
And it is still there.
I'm so here for this.
Since we're kind of nearing the end, and we're probably going to end a little bit earlier for tonight, but it takes a bit of searching for the two wolves and the rest of the party to kind of pick up the scent, but it does happen. The trail keeps leading further east, and further kind of in some ways a little bit more down the coast. Like you hear the ocean is fairly nearby. You're still in the woods, but it's definitely there are times when you hit clearings where you can see the ocean to the south. So you're definitely getting close to the coastline, or are close to the coastline. And eventually, Fuelan, you get the scent of these individuals and start to kind of track them again. It does help that you guys savage the shit out of them, and they are bleeding, which helps a lot. Especially because whatever they were using to conceal themselves, apparently it has a time limit on it, because eventually you were able to pick up as you guys were, basically as you and Fenrir were kind of going back and forth and all over the place and all over hell and back to try to find the scent, whatever timer was on their sneaking around ability that made them extra sneaky seemed to have faded. So then you're starting to pick up the blood trail again, and you start to trace them to what looks like, at first it looks like a kind of a cave entrance, but you realize as you get closer that the exterior of this cave entrance looks like a cave entrance, but you can see only a few steps into the cave itself. It goes from rough stone to like more actual solid brickwork and stonework, which, Tink, you recognize is a very dwarven make, like as far as like the crafting of it. Very, very hard edges, but very like I'm probably fucking up the terminology, but like spliced blocks where there's no, like you couldn't put a paper between the gap. Like they're like not like stone and mortar because they're too cool for that, but like fitted, like damn near perfectly kind of fitted stone. And you definitely get a sense that is of dwarven manufacture, and that where these creatures, these slunk off to, you must have gone into this place, whatever this sort of dwarven compound or ruins is.
Do I know of any sort of dwarven settlement that would be down this far?
No. The dwarves primarily live in the Thrufell Mountains to the west, which is where you kind of came from.
Yeah.
And dwarves, and then the Goliaths, which apparently have been on a lot friendlier terms as of late, but have more or less left each other alone, except for the few raids back and forth that invariably happen when you get a bunch of rowdy dwarves dealing with a bunch of rowdy Goliaths, like you do. No, for the most part, the dwarves. I mean, granted, there's either those dwarves that want to that have the more adventurous spirit that maybe have gone forth into the world, or quite frankly, more commonly, the dwarven merchants that want to make all the money off the shills that are the other people, or what have you. So, it's not like there isn't a dwarven presence, but yeah, as far as an actual dwarven settlement, no, it's pretty odd to.
Tinkle kind of like nudged Ludema, and sort of with a kind of puzzled look on his face, just indicate the stonework, and that's dwarven make, that is.
And Ludema nods and says, yeah, it's definitely not lichen or a regular cave.
And Fuelan, since you're in wolf form, you get the sense you smell very distinctly. Like you smell the kind of, you've gotten very familiar with the smells of the two creatures that ran off. And you do smell what smells like them, but you smell kind of reeking out of that tunnel, you smell goblins. And a lot of them.
Okay.
Because you can't forget the smell of a horde of goblins. Like it's, for these other people, sure they can, but not for one with us. For those that are blessed with the acute senses that you are.
Sure. I will temporarily switch back to my human form so that I can actually speak. And say, this place is infested with goblins.
Do you need pants?
Hmm? Oh,
Your
right.
pants are out.
Thank you. And he'll kind of take the stuff back.
Sir.
Your fuck pants, sir.
And he'll put it back on.
Well, it'll be safer for the town if we take care of the Barghast problem. He kind of sighs a little bit, moves to the cavern entrance, ducks down, and walks in.
And as you will say before you head in, but as you guys prepare yourselves, or you prepare yourselves. Now, granted, it took you a bit of time to get back onto the trail. So, as the sun is definitely dipped past the through fells, as twilight is setting in, you all steady your composure as you prepare to enter into this dungeon, and we will leave it there for the evening.
Yes, I love it.
Cool.
I want to say all your characters are freaking awesome.
Right? This is fun.
Why, thank you.
This is a freaking delight. Did you guys have fun?
Yes.
I'm enjoying this a lot.
As I said, it's been 10 years since I've actually just played Kai, and I've forgotten how much fun it is to play him. Just...
Good character.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kai is enjoyable.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and it feels good to kind of slip into these shoes again.
I'm not used to your characters being so quiet. I'm used to Gavin, who's, definitely chattier, and to have Kai be so quiet and like soft spoken and like
he was always with Saral, so he just never got a word in edgewise.
No.
That's fair.
When we met you, you had a vow of silence.
I'm just messing with you. But no, he had a bit of a vow of silence.
There was that too, yeah.
Just a little matter of a vow of silence. It's fine. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody who watched this whenever the fuck it drops. And thank you for sticking around and tune in. We'll be doing more of this on my stream, and we will catch you guys next time.
Hey, if you have any ideas of phrases you'd like to hear Tink say.
Yes.
I'm going to make this even worse for Phoenix. Phrases and accents in which to say them.
Which I will do very badly. I need you to understand.
You do them.
Please,
Bryan.
reach out to me on TikTok.
Right.
What's your
There's
TikTok
that
handle?
phrase that I used during session 0 regarding throwing fireballs.
If we've been together, I probably would have heard you, and you should tell me what it is. I am Witchy Phoenix on TikTok. Please reach out to me. I would love more ideas.
Oh, I'm Emerald Asprex on TikTok. We're already friends.
Well, just anybody who's watching the stream right now.
Yeah.
So,
Beautiful.
there's that. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We will be back with more Gravendale at some point. Again, the when of it is still kind of up in the air from this time frame. But if you're watching this, clearly this went somewhere. So, thank you all. We will catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.